Hey guys, welcome back to the completion of the Cancer Awareness Enterprise. Hi everyone, welcome back. Here we are with the pink Enterprise for the Cancer Awareness build. She's all painted up. 2 coats was good. Not going to need to do any more. There's the saucer. This light doesn't really give it doesn't really justify how decent it really looks, but it looks pretty good. The one thing I did notice though is that the color in the end, it just seems, you can see, my light's all off. Let's see if I can do this. You can see from the bottom of the jar, it's a little lighter than that. It actually came out darker as it dried, which is fine. I'm really okay with the way it came out. It's pretty cool. So reminds me of the sci-fi version of Operation Petticoat with the pink submarine, which is a build that I really want to do. I just don't have a submarine to do it. But anyway, I digress. So this is dried overnight. I hit a couple of the spots, as you can see, on the warp nacelles back here. I used some charcoal. There we go. How's that? I used some charcoal here and around this collar on both of the warp nacelles. Just for a point of interest, I took and I made the shuttle bay doors also gray, and then the impulse engine piece on the back of the saucer was also made gray. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to future this and seal it in, because what's starting to happen already is the craft paint's starting to rub off. It rubs off very easy. So I want to seal it in before I do anything else, because I'd still like to do some detail paint work to the back of the nacelle here on this part here. I'm thinking at least put some color in the back in the holes to give it some definition. And there's some other things I'm thinking about, but the more I handle it, the more of it's falling off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to future it. I think we've talked about this before. Other people have, I know that, but just in case, here's what I'm talking about. When you build anything, you build a car, such as the Mustang over here, I'm sorry, Shelby. When you're done with your painting, you want to seal it. You want to give it something to protect your paint. And there are a couple things you can do. Sometimes there's a rattle can version of sealer that you can use. What I usually do is this stuff. I'm sure you've heard of it, the Future Pledge. This stuff is really cool. Again, I think we talked about it already. What you're really looking for is a future piece. It used to be just future. I don't know what happened. Companies changed, bought, I don't know. But now it's Pledge with future. Good morning, everyone. Where it's 1 o'clock in the morning here in New Jersey, and I'm about to hit the sheets. But before I do, I just wanted to give you an update on the Cancer Awareness Starship that I'm building. Here she is. Okay. Spent the night assembling her, doing a lot of touch-up painting, which I'll have to go over and seal later. But for the most part, it's looking pretty decent. Not perfect. Actually, I screwed the pooch on this one, and I think where I made the mistake is when I painted everything, the components individually, and then went to assemble, the tolerances between the parts mating was too small. Hence, I cracked this nacelle open, put a big old crack here. Okay, all that putty work that I did for naught. And then when I was working on putting the saucer onto the neck here, it split both ends of the neck, the front and the back, and down the spine, all cracked open again. Actually, when I squeeze it together, you can barely see it, but it did, along here, but it did crack it. The tolerance here underneath, you don't have a light. Here we go. The tolerance between the neck and the main hull here is pretty big, but I'm honestly, I'm not going to fudge with it. I have another one of these in a stash that I have a big plan for it. So I'll take more care next time, that's for sure. I learned a lot from this, but we're coming along. It was futured 3 times, which I think again was part of the reason for the cracking when again, for not cleaning those joints together. But then I started doing some touch-up work on the Bassard caps. They have to be futured. They're not. Still need a couple coats to make it look good. The bridge section here had to be painted. I completely forgot about this. It was one big solid clear piece. Solid clear piece. You know what I mean. It was a clear piece, and I had to paint it. I wasn't going to paint it to break out the brush for that, so I did it all by hand. That's going to have to get futured too, because again, craft paint falls off these things like crazy. But other than that, looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. I think it'll do. It'll get my point across. So we're going to let this sit now. Like I said, I'm going to go to sleep. Tomorrow I'm going to do some more touch-ups on the Bassards here. Whatever else I could find that needs to be touched up. We're going to start the decaling. Okay, as you can see here, we're trying to work on our Cancer Awareness Enterprise, and I think I showed you before, I kind of screwed the pooch on it. When I was trying to do the nav lights, I got paint all over the place. It just was a disaster. So what we're trying to do is, I'm just wet sanding it right now, doing some wet sanding to smooth out the edges, and we're going to try to give this a repaint and see if we can't do it. And it's difficult. I'm nervous about it because the paint was finished, put some future on it and everything, and we started the decals, and then this happened, so I'm a little nervous, but we're just going to make it work. We'll figure it out. So I found the old paint that I used, which was Craft Acrylic Taffeta Pink. Alright, so we're going to mix some of this up and we're going to try painting. What we're going to do is we're going to take it from this angle. We're going to shoot past this way so I don't have to worry about the decals. So shoot this way and get it so it just covers that. And if it gets anywhere over here, no big deal because we haven't decaled that end yet. And then we'll flip it and we'll do this side. Hopefully we'll get that taken care of. But that's where we are, so I'll be right back. Alright, so as you can see here, we did some spraying and it actually came out really good. You can't even tell, aside from the difference in between a flat coat and a shiny coat, you can't see any of the scratches, the abrasions, the lip where the paint was taken up and everything, so that's very good. I'm happy. We're going to let this sit and then we're going to try glossing it, sealing everything in, and we're going to pick up where we started. And if you noticed, I've got just the head of the saucer, the rest of the ship fell off. When I was holding it, looking at it, the front of the ship was a little cattywampus from the nacelles, and I was looking at it, and I just twisted it, and it popped right off. But it was clean. It just came out from the spot that it was in, so I'll be able to fix that easily. I don't know what it is. This little ship is trying to kick my ass. It doesn't want to get built. But we're going to beat it into submission. It's kind of like fighting cancer. It kicks your ass, but in the end, you try to beat it into submission and be healthy. So anyway, be right back. Okay, so we fast forwarded to the end of this build. It's a small build. It really shouldn't take too long. But this one took me an exceptionally long time. Started back in 2014. Picked it up in 2017. I think I picked it up one other time too, but anyway, finally decided it's time to get this sucker done. It's now 2020. I wanted to get it done because it really is kind of a cool looking build to me. I'm really kind of digging it. But up to now, I can't think of any model that fought me more than this one right here. This did not want to get built. Maybe it was a metaphor for cancer survivors or something, but perseverance and that kind of thing, I'm not sure. But the issues were numerous. And not to scare anybody from building this model, because I guarantee almost all these issues were related to me. They're my issues. Looking up on it, I haven't found anybody that had the same issues as I did. Most specifically, the biggest issue that I've had yet with this model, and this is the second one I've built, is this nacelle. This nacelle, it sucks. It's a snap together model. You put it together, this one goes, snaps in. This one cannot get to snap in to save my life on the two models that I did. Matter of fact, it broke this one. Like putting it in, it split it, broke it. It was horrible. The primary hull, putting that on, it fell off a couple times. Putting it on, I cracked the spine all the way down. The spine of the ship is all cracked now. It was nicely puttied and painted, but now it's got a big crack in it. Not much I can do about it. Painting the nav lights. When I went to paint the nav lights, paint oozed everywhere. I had to repaint the whole top of the primary hull, and I had already started decaling. So that was an issue. Replacement decals had to get ordered, everything like that. Then I finished this. Actually, I finished this about a week ago, and I had it resting upstairs, just on display up in my living room for a little bit. I don't usually keep my stuff there. The family's not really into this stuff, so it's kind of like, why is this here? But I had this along with the Cancer Awareness Mustang sitting on the shelf for right now, just for a little bit. And one day I'm playing with the dog and I threw a toy of his, and for some reason it was the best curveball you could ever imagine. It curved, it angled, and it took out the Mustang and this at the same time. Mustang, minimal damage. I knocked the mirror off. It was easy. Luckily it didn't hit the floor. This, because of the base, this is a very wobbly base, this crashed and took a nosedive off the counter, hit the floor and broke. The base broke in two pieces, the troublesome nacelle broke off, and the secondary hull broke off. So had to put all that stuff back together. The not all that difficult, to be honest with you. The hardest thing was that the base, when it broke, the pins that go into the secondary hole to hold it in place, they broke off. So I had to drill them out, sand everything smooth. Then I put 2 pins in there and then glued it back into place. The cool thing is, this model, the original model, came with this base. The new one that's out, which is the Space Seed Edition, comes with a half moon, round 2 half round base, which is a lot more sturdy. It also comes with this one too, but I was looking specifically for this one because I needed the base for something else, and it was a whole story. But now this sits down and it's really, really shaky. But it is what it is. So anyway, after a very, very long and arduous fight, this sucker is completed and going to go on the shelf and move on to the next project. Thank you everyone that followed along. I appreciate it, and all your support and everything. And until next time, guys, be strong.